Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Houston.
Astros fans have been rocking Minute Maid Park all week long. After sweeping the New York Mets, the Astros now have the defending World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals on the brink of another 3-game sweep. Paging Mr. Sweepy. Mr. Sweepy. Astros baseball is next.
Sunday Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is presented by Hyundai. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's Game 3 of this series. The Astros trying for a sweep of the defending world champion St. Louis Cardinals. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays is back after being with a daughter who graduated yesterday. Great day for you. You missed a good ball game, but hopefully another one coming today, JD.
Well, not just one good ball game, but a series of good ball games for the Astros on this homestand after sweeping the New York Mets. And obviously the Mets kind of an undermanned team, but now they got a chance to do it against the St. Louis Cardinals. So having a great week here. Jed Lowry's been red hot. Chris Johnson, you know about the 2-home run game the other day against the Mets. Hits a grand slam yesterday. Altuve continues to swing a red hot bat. So it's been a pretty impressive show for the Astros. First against the Mets and now against the St. Louis Cardinals. And if Happ can be on his game here this afternoon, perhaps they will get the sweep against St. Louis.
And there's the home run upon review for Jed Lowry. Now coming up next, can the Astros sweep a second straight series on this homestand? Jay Happ wants to go for it against big Adam Wainwright, who's been fantastic against the Astros. Game 3 of this series is a moment away.
Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE
today. Well, the fans continuing to come in on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. Very pleasant with the roof closed. Greg Lucas here down on the field. The Cardinals and the Astros. The Cardinals have struggled. The Astros are happy about that. They have won the first two in this series. They've won 5 straight with J. Happ on the mound. Well, the word sweep is going to be said by a few people, at least until the Cardinals prove otherwise. Let's go up to the booth now for Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies, who'll call the action.
Thanks, Greg. Reunion time. Greg is back with us. JD is back with us. And the Cardinals are moving on to Arizona, but the Astros stay right here. Here's the Redbirds starting lineup for Mike Matheny, brought to you by Hyundai. Rafael Furcal leads off, playing shortstop. It's Carlos Beltran, the former Astro, in right field. Matt Holliday in left field. Alan Craig at first base. David Freese at third. Yadier Molina, the catcher. John Jay in center. Tyler Green, the second baseman. Adam Wainwright, the pitcher.
J. Happ pitches for the Astros this afternoon. Let's check in with pitching coach Doug Brocail.
J. Happ's most effective when he throws his fastball for strikes. Usually Jay pitches off of his fastball and his cutter, which allows his curveball in later innings to become an out pitch. His changeup is what we've been really working on. He's trying to get a new grip, and that's leading to a lot of success.
Thank you, Doug. Now J. Happ, after 110 pitches Tuesday, defeating the Mets, allowing 6 hits, 3 earned runs, and 6 1/3 on 110. Works to Rafael Furcal. Furcal's led off the last 6 games with hits. Showing bunt that time, and he is instant offense for the Redbirds. 333, 1 homer, 12 runs batted in for Furcal. The switch hitter is tied for 4th in the league with Jose Altuve with 36 hits. And it's a 2-ball, no strike count for Jay. Jay 1-6 lifetime against the Redbirds with a 6.44 ERA in 8 starts.
So he takes the mound today with the retribution on his mind.
Fly ball goes to right. Ryan Bogusevic, 1 out.
He may or may not have retribution on his mind. But he has not been very good against the Cardinals. Defensive help comes from Buck Schaefer and Bogusevic in the outfield. Johnson Lowry big and little on the infield. Jason Castro is behind the plate. And J. Happ last year against the Cardinals 0-4 with a 7.29 ERA. But that was then. This is now. Jay's been throwing the ball well so far here in 2012.
Carlos Beltran gives the Redbirds a power pack number 2 hitter and a switch hitter to boot, taking strike 1. At 272, he has 7 homers. That's tied for 4th in the league, and he's driven in 19. Carlos 1 for 5 with an RBI in this series. He hits that one foul. He did not start Friday night because he had tweaked a leg muscle before that. So back in this lineup without Lance Berkman. Lance is still on the disabled list with a calf injury. In the dirt to Carlos. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Redbirds have been quite a high-powered team in the early innings. They've outscored their opponents in the first 3 innings of their game, 67-28. And Furcal had scored runs in the first inning in 5 straight games. So that's a big out for Jay right there. Grounder in the hole, backhanded. Lowry, and the throw is perfect. He has played errorless baseball. That's his 90th chance of the year.
Yeah, how to make a good first impression. How about Jed Lowry both at the plate and in the field since joining the Astros this winter in the Melanson deal. Flawless defensively and just tearing it up with the bat, hitting .338 now. Been on a home run jag of late.
Matt Holliday with great career numbers against the Astros comes around for the first time. Fastball was ball 1 to Holliday. A .257 hitter with 5 homers. He's driven in 19. Matt is 3 for 8 with a couple of runs batted in this series. He's on a 5-game hitting streak, 9 for 20. It's 2-0. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is calling the balls and strikes today. Lance Barrett, Paul Emmel, and Scott Berry round out the crew. 3-0. Okay, so the adjustment is he's been high a few times. What's he thinking now?
He just needs to reset the sights, and he works effectively up in the zone with his fastball, but it's usually after getting ahead. So he just needs to make sure he finishes, drive that ball down like that. That's a good miss right there. He missed, but at least he missed down.
We didn't want to miss right in the heart of the plate for Matt Holliday. So a walk with 2 outs, not the worst thing in the world. And it's Alan Craig next. Craig has just come back. He hurt a knee here last year, and that required surgery after the season. .333 with 4 runs batted in for Allen. They're playing him at first base again, and Mike Matheny was asked about that as he chatted with people who cover the Cardinal club yesterday before the game. And he's toyed with the idea of playing Craig in the outfield some. And Matt Carpenter can play either first base or the outfield, but he made an error Friday night in the outfield.
Yeah, he has very little experience in the outfield. Carpenter does. But when you've got injuries and you know Carpenter's a good athlete, he probably will figure it out there if he needs to.
Craig gives them a good hitter though in this number 4 spot while Lance Berkman is out. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. And Carpenter's driven in 14. He leads all rookies in runs batted in. So the Cardinals have filled in quite capably for Lance to this point. Mike Matheny's club 16-11 with a 3-game losing streak. Its first 3-game losing streak of the year, but still with a 2.5-game edge on Cincinnati atop the NL Central. In tight, and it's 2-1. And Matheny and the Redbirds are probably totally unaware of the fact that the Cardinals have lost 17 of their last 20 on Cinco de Mayo. So they're glad to get that one behind them.
Yeah, you want to catch them on Cinco de Mayo. That's I read that on one of the advanced scouting reports. If you can get them, if you can get Katie Feeney to schedule the Cardinals on May 5th, you want to do that.
That's going to get out. 2-run homer by Craig, number 1 of the year, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0.
A 2-out walk, not the worst thing in the world. That would be probably famine or pestilence, but not a good thing when it comes in advance of that kind of a swing of the bat. A 4-pitch walk to Holliday and a 2-run jack for Craig.
Yeah, Craig really cashing in, giving him 6 runs batted in for the season.
Looked like a cutter, and generally that pitch is more effective when it's up, moving in on the hands. It's high hitter up.
2-0 Redbirds. Now David Freese bats. This one off the end of the bat outside the right field line and back into the seats for strike 1. The Astros had not allowed a homer on this homestand until a moment ago when Alan Craig went deep. They had out-homered their opponents 8-0 in going 5-0 on this homestand. Freese with a .315 average has 6 long balls, 24 driven in. Taps that one off his leg, and it's 0-2.
Wow, Alan Craig is now 4 for 5 with 2 home runs off of J Happ. I mean, 5 at bats usually not enough of a sample to get your attention, but 4 for 5 with 2 jacks.
That'll do it.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Fractured that kneecap here last June, running into that wall in foul territory outside the right field line. That one's hooked foul left field side. Molina on deck. And the count remains 0-2 as they get a souvenir. The Astros have their first 5-game winning streak since August of 2010. And they have won 6 in a row here at Minute Maid Park. They're 9-5 at home, and they have pitched really well here. Bounces well in front of the plate, 1-2. In fact, the Astros ERA at home is 2.64. Doug Brocail has to like that. A strikeout ends the Redbird first. They get 2 runs on 1 hit. Alan Craig goes deep. And the Cardinals hang a 2 spot on J Happ early. Now Wainwright to the mound in just a moment. Astros, and Wainwright, with that great career record against Houston, will be facing Jordan Schaefer in center, Jose Altuve at second, Brian Bogusevic in right, Carlos Lee at first, Jed Lowry the shortstop, Travis Buck in left field today, Chris Johnson at third, Jason Castro the catcher, Jay Happ the pitcher. Brought to you by Hyundai.
After a little bit of a bumpy start, Adam Wainwright this year, but in his career against the Astros, smooth sailing for the big righty. 11 starts, he's 9-1 with a $1.56 ERA. My goodness.
Jordan Schaefer leads it off. He's been on base in every game he's played. 25 in a row to tie a club record at the beginning of a season. There's ball one. 261, 352 on base average for Jordan Schaefer.
Playing a little bit the other way in the outfield. And the Chief Justice, John Jay, out there in center field. Very shallow. If Schaefer were able to drive one over his head, he might circle the bases. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would. And he is not flanked by Justices Brennan and O'Connor, by the way, in that outfield.
No, we'd have to. We got to be able to find a couple, right? We probably could put together an all Chief Justice outfield, at least, if not an entire club.
We should work on that. 2 balls and a strike to Schaefer.
Certainly, if we use last names only. Marshall out there.
Yeah, there you go. 3 balls and a strike to Schaefer. He's walked 13 times. Jay has really been something. He's leading the majors in batting average right now.
Talking with Mike Matheny the other day about Wainwright, and he's not concerned about his sluggish start. He said, hey, he missed an entire year. He just hasn't quite had the feel of his secondary pitches, but he likes the way the ball is coming out of his hand. He's happy with the velocity.
Got his first win last time out. He allowed 4 runs in 7 innings, beat the Pirates 10-7 on Tuesday. He had started 0-3. And the fastball gets Schaefer on strikes.
Saw a couple of changeups earlier in that sequence, and I think he had changeup on his mind, something off speed, and he's just a little late getting started on that running fastball. Defensive swing, but could not make contact. And here are the Cardinals defensively. We showed you the Chief Justice. He's got Beltran on one side, Holiday on the other. Freeze for Call, Green and Craig on the infield. Yadier Molina is the backstop.
Jose Altuve is 2 for 9 in this series with a 3-run homer Friday night. This one goes foul. He led off last night as Schaefer got a rest against the lefty Jaime Garcia. And last night Jose was 0 for 4 in that game, but John Jay made a really good play on him, and he made another one last night and then an outstanding one Friday night too. Rolled out to shortstop for Call. 2 down for Wainwright. Wainwright in his career has started 4 games at Minute Maid Park, and his record in those games is 3-0 with a 1.95 ERA.
So what you're saying is, if you were a gambling man looking at Wright's numbers against the Astros versus what Jay Happ has done against the Cardinals, you would have laid a little cash down on the Cardinals today.
You would have really gone deep on this one.
Yeah. But these are the kind of matchups that scare you.
Absolutely.
They don't always stay true to form.
Yeah. Don't bet the house on it. There's ball one.
Sometimes those 15-1 long shots come in.
Bogusevic at 222 has a homer and 8 runs batted in. Did that happen yesterday? 15-1?
15-1, I think, was.
Okay.
What was the name of the horse? I'll have another one?
Yes, I'll have another. 2-0 to Bogey. Hitting 292 in his last 14 games. 2 doubles, 2 triples. And this one's in the air, and the left fielder comes in. Holiday, and shortstop for Call lets him have it for out number 3. 2-0 Redbirds after 1. you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. First pitch of the second inning from Jay Happ to Yadier Molina. Goes for ball one. Molina up at 298 before homers, has driven in 15. He is 1 for 8 in this series. Takes that one for a strike, and it's even to the Cardinal backstop, who signed a multi-year contract extension and has those good numbers to start and ranks high among National League catchers in homers and runs batted in, tied for third. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jay Happ beat the Mets last time out with those numbers you saw on the screen earlier to get to 2-1 for the season. In the hole and on through. Chris Johnson couldn't get to it. He watched it go by, and Jed Lowry had a long trip to the backhand side, so Molina gets a clean single to left, hit number 2 for the Redbirds.
The kind of play there where Lowry could have corralled that ball by leaving his feet, but if he does, he's got no chance to get Molina, so he tries to get it upright. Still would have had a very difficult play to make from that deep. So anyway you slice it, it's going to be a base hit for Molina. I wonder where that comes from. Any way you slice it.
Must be different ways of slicing things, JD. John Jay. Some of us who don't do food preparation wouldn't know that.
Any way you slice it, it's the same. It's going to come out the same. So,
yeah,
I guess a pie, maybe if you cut it in 4 pieces versus 8, it's still the same pie.
Still edible, and yeah, all those things. John Jay leads the majors with that .405 batting average. Well, you could slice it lengthwise, widthwise. You can slice and dice it,
but it's still apple pie.
Still apple pie. Now we'll be hearing from a lot of chefs very soon on that. 1 ball and 1 strike. John Jay, 27 years old, really blossoming here for the Redbirds. He hit .297 for them last year, but this John Jay has been otherworldly so far, with an OPS of almost 1,000. Swings and misses at that one, and it's a 1 ball 2 strike count to Jay, and also playing a very good brand of center field. Here's a second round pick in 06. We had a chat on Astros Live with Sig Mejdal, who has joined Jeff Luhnow in this Astros front office, both coming from St. Louis. Sig is the director of decision sciences. He and Jeff had a lot to do with drafting players like John Jay during their time in St. Louis.
Oh, hey, stay with it. Yeah, decision sciences, that's all about the data analysis, all kinds of analysis, and Sig's a real smart guy. He's got a smart group working for him, and they'll do all kinds of computer models based on statistics and all the information they compile, where balls are hit, and what kind of pitches are pitched and hit and thrown, and what the outcomes are, but a lot of biomechanics studies as well.
3-2, very interesting guy. He joined SABR when he was in elementary school.
Society for American Baseball Research.
Has a couple of engineering degrees. Worked for NASA at one point. Just a very intriguing background. And the numbers of baseball. That's a whole different day unto itself other than a ball game. JD, we could probably show up and not have a game and do 3 hours with people like Sig Mejdal, and they look at data like that. Spray charts.
Spray charts showing hits by directions, whether they're ground balls, line drives, or pop-ups. That box there, that grid indicating the strike zone.
Runner going here, and it's hit in the air to left field. Travis Buck in position, taking care of out number 1. Molina back to first. Runs created is one thing that's fairly new on the scene, and Bill James attracted the attention of Sig Mejdal and many of us years and years ago with statistics. I believe runs created was Bill James, maybe not. There are so many people.
The thing about it is baseball fans can enjoy baseball on all different levels. I mean, you can get into the minutia of all that if you want, or you can just leave it alone and watch the game. It's kind of
different levels of understanding and appreciation.
And the real tension in baseball seems to be between some of the old-time scouts who don't put a lot of validity in data analysis, and the data guys who say, wait a minute, this stuff is really important. And maybe there are some in that world that undervalue what scouts bring to the table. What I like about Jeff Luhnow and his group, they're using everything.
Yeah.
Jeff's he's been out scouting himself, watching players, and he listens to his scouts as well as all the data that they're able to compile and analyze.
Jay Happ has fallen behind 6 of the first 8 hitters with ball 1. He's at 2-0 here on Green. Somebody is in the mix at second base along with a couple of other guys, Schumacher and Descalzo. Fly ball to right field, chasing Bogusevic back toward the bullpen wall. That one's off the wall, off his bare hand, and then is picked up by Schaefer, and Molina's coming home. And no play at the plate as the Cardinals lead 3-0. So Molina scored on the RBI double by Green.
That's one of the things you look for in a pitcher is not just is he giving up hits, but is he giving up extra base hits? Is he giving up solid contact? And the home run by Craig and now this double by Green on pitches that are up. And again, Jay's a guy who can pitch up in the zone effectively. His problem today has been working from behind in the count, putting hitters in fastball situations and then giving in with the fastball. And certainly that was the case here. Molina chugging around the bases.
Adam Wainwright's a very good hitting pitcher. There's strike one. He has 5 career homers so far this year. 1 for 9, but 219 lifetime, 5 homers, 23 runs batted in. For calls on deck. It's 1-1. Cardinals have outscored their opponents for the season 147-89. Tyler Green hit that ball hard for his second double. That was RBI number 5 for him. High chop. Chris Johnson goes up for it. Looks the runner back. Gets Wainwright. 2 outs. And it's Rafael for call.
CJ didn't have a lot of time. He takes a look at Green to get him frozen over there coming off of second base, then makes a throw across to get Wainwright. As Brownie mentioned, a good hitter, a very good athlete. He moves down that line better than most pitchers too. Pooch parade here before the ball game today. A lot of dogs here, a lot of 4-legged little critters running around.
Pretty good number taking part in that parade. Rafael for call on a 2-0 count. Hit the ball in the air to the right fielder. And the Cardinals have all their hits when their hitters are ahead in the count. And for call, taking that one for a strike. Be a nice pattern for Jay to get into here because he's consistently been behind these guys early. Ball, and Chris Johnson leaves his feet, gets up, throws to first, and what a play by Chris Johnson. He got the speedy for call after leaving his feet, and then he got up and made an outstanding throw with a run scoring on 2 hits and a man left. Cardinals lead at 3-0.
Astros for their next Flashback Friday, May 18th against the Rangers. Nolan Ryan's going to toss out the first pitch, and the Astros will wear the legendary Shooting Star uniforms. You may have seen them last Friday. Also, don't miss the best fireworks in baseball with Friday Night Fireworks presented by the Marathon Oil Corporation. So root now and buy your tickets at Astros.com, guys.
Thanks, Greg. There's ball one to Carlos Lee, a .280 hitter with 2 homers, 14 runs batted in. He is 1 for 26 lifetime against Wainwright. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Wainwright has allowed 7 home runs. That's tied for the top figure in the National League. That's in 27 2/3 innings. Brings that one in for a strike. That makes it 2-1.
Wainwright pitching this year at 30 years of age. Missed all of last year with the Tommy John surgery.
3 balls and a strike.
I don't think he knows that he owns Carlos the way he does, the way he's pitching him so carefully here.
May not.
3 consecutive shots at that outside edge.
Carlos has been hitting the ball hard to right field in this series. This one goes to right field. Backs up Beltran on the warning track. 1 down. Chris Carpenter has not been able to take a start yet for the Redbirds. It might be June, some speculate, before he's able to rejoin their rotation. He is not throwing yet. Jed Lowry with spectacular early season numbers. A .338 average, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in. Hit number 4 last night upon review by the umpiring crew. It glanced off a railing above that yellow line, top the wall bordering the Landry's Crawford boxes. And there's strike 1 to Jed. 8-game hitting streak for Jed. .429 during those 8 games. He's driven in 9 in his last 6 games. Fouls that one away. He has been one of the hot sticks on this Astros club, which is 4th in the league in runs scored. Numbers at home look very good for the Astros hitters. They've scored 73 runs in 14 games. He takes that one up. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jed. Last time the Astros had sweeps in back-to-back home series was the 08 season. Strike 3 call. That's a second strikeout for Wainwright.
Wainwright used to throw that big curveball a lot. Recent seasons he's backed off of it some, but it's still an out pitch for him. He thought it was outside. It was awfully close.
Travis Buck comes up next. It's a day of rest for J.D. Martinez. Travis, sporting a .294 average, has driven in 5. There's strike 1.
Mental break for J.D. as much as anything. He had the Dickey game off. He didn't face the knuckleballer. He's young physically. He doesn't need time off, but when you're scuffling sometimes, tough right-hander on the mound. If you're a right-handed hitter, not a bad idea to take a day off.
He's 0 for 7 in this series, J.D. And
saw what it did for Chris Johnson. He came back after a day off and hit 2 home runs.
Yeah. J.D. 0 for his last 14 right now. And Travis Buck needs a start here and there, too. So that plays into this decision. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to the former Oakland and Cleveland outfielder. Travis, in his last game, doubled Tuesday night as a pinch hitter against the Mets. He's done a great job pinch hitting, going 5 for 7. Fouled away, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. This is his 9th start of the year, and Brad Mills continues to keep everybody in the mix. Last night, Justin Maxwell was the starter in center field. Jordan Schaefer getting a day off, and so the guys on the bench continued to play and stay pretty sharp. Pulled foul. Bobby Meacham is away from the club last night and again today for his son's graduation in Colorado. So Dan Radisson, special assistant to the general manager, is in the first base coaching box for the 2nd straight game. He was at the Astros extended spring training and rejoining the club here for this assignment this weekend. He'll bounce all around through the organization this year. Buck looks at it, and it's a ball. 3-2 now to Travis. Wainwright has walked 6 in 28 innings this year. Career record of 67 and 38. There's a 2-out walk. Well, 2-out walks won't hurt you, JD.
No. See if Wainwright fares any better than Jay did back in the first.
Chris Johnson would like to do that same thing, follow that 2-out walk with a homer as Alan Craig did in the first inning. 306 for CJ, 3 homers. He's driven in 18. And what a run he's been on this homestand. 3 homers, 10 runs batted in the 5 games.
He could be player of the week.
He really could be. There's strike 1 to CJ. Wednesday he had that 4-for-4 game with 2 homers and 6 runs batted in. And last night, first major league grand slam, going 2-for-4. He's driven in more runs than the Cardinals the last 3 games. They've driven in 7 as a team.
He's doubled his RBI output in 2 ball games.
1-1. Chris has that streaky character, though. You know, he'll go on a tear and be hot for a while. Right side of the infield pretty well open for him. It goes up the middle, and that's a knock into center field for CJ. And here's Travis Buck going first to third to bring up Jason Castro.
We'll see how aggressive Wainwright chooses to be with Castro. I suspect with a 3-run lead he'll go right after him, but he will not give in if he falls behind. Good swing of the bat here by CJ. Stays through the ball nicely, keeps that shoulder in and drives it up the middle. Just looking at some numbers here online. We're talking about player of the week. Jed Lowry actually hitting .524 over the last 7 days with an OPS of 1,600 and change. So
wow,
really good case for
beating teammates here.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a pretty good week for a club if a couple of guys are vying for player of the week honors. 237 for Castro with 7 driven in. He was 0 for 3 last night. And takes the curve for strike 1. Castro's 1 for 3 against Wainwright. Wainwright has not faced the Astros since the 2010 season. Of course, he missed all last year with the Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John turned out to be one fine surgeon. Well, he almost tripped.
We had a note when Jamie Moyer was pitching here the first weekend of the season that he actually faced Tommy John.
Wow.
You know, a whole generation of players has come along since that time, and they know Tommy John more for the surgery than for his career as a pitcher.
And I guarantee there's a whole bunch of them that have no idea that he was a pitcher.
Jay Happ on deck with a count 0-2 for Wainwright. First round pick of Atlanta in 2000. In the dirt. There's the smother by Molina. Tomorrow night, the Miami Marlins are here to start a 3-game series. There's a real parallel between the Marlins and the Astros. Going back a few days, they were both 8-14, and they both won 5 in a row.
Fish have been very streaky this year.
They really have. Now they've changed closers. Keith Bell has been moved out of the closer spot. He has 4 blown saves already. Nothing going on the 1-2 count with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Mike Stanton used to be his name. Now it's Giancarlo Stanton. Well, Giancarlo has hit 5 homers in the last 7 games. Marlins are out west in San Diego. In tight, and yeah, he's called for swinging. So that ends the second inning. No runs, a hit, 2 men left. Third strikeout for Wainwright. 3-0 Redbird lead.
Aisle 7. Clean up aisle 7.
Not on the good side of that one, but today is Bring Your Dog to the Park Day, and I am out here with Karen Poe. She's with from the Cocker Spaniel Rescue, and she's got little Jenny here, and Jenny was able to throw out the first pitch, believe it or not. Tell us a little bit about Jenny and what you were able to do here today.
Okay, Jenny is a little cocker that we rescued, and she has bone cancer. It's terminal. We came out with a bucket list and have completed her list today. Her last one was to throw the pitch or the first fetch at the Astros game, and Mike Foreman, her hero, the astronaut, threw the pitch for her. And we've just been really excited to be here and be able to complete the list and to bring attention to our rescue group as well as all rescues and how many great dogs there are out there. And we've been doing this for about 25 years. We've got over 100 Cocker Spaniels, and we're all volunteers, keep them in our homes and try to find good homes for them so that they can go on to live long, happy lives.
Well, that is awesome. And, you know, here's the first pitch now. As you said, the first fetch. Very cool to do that. But talk a little bit about all the dogs out here in this section and how fun it is to be able to bring them out to the park today.
It's a blast. I mean, just being able to have your dog out here and interact with them and see everybody that's so dog-oriented and that the Astros are behind doing the dogs and having everyone here. Jenny's having a blast meeting all her furry friends and getting her hot dog. She's looking forward to her hot dog. So,
awesome. Well, Jenny was able to cross some things off her list, and I've never made a dog our progressive fan of the game. But one more thing to add to Jenny's bucket list. This is Jenny, our progressive fan of the game. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Thanks, Patty. 3-2 pitch is ball 4 to Carlos Beltran, leading off the third inning. That's the second walk for Jay Happ, trailing 3-0. The Cardinals have 3 hits, including an Alan Craig 2-run homer. Doug Brocail tells us about Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday is a very aggressive hitter. Look for our pitchers to attack him both in and out, up and down, and breaking balls across and down in the dirt.
Holliday walked and scored on the Craig homer. Strike one for Happ.
And strike one, something Jay has done more frequently this year than last. 61% of the time he throws strike one. We were talking earlier about data analysis. There's some of the stuff you can study, counts and how hitters perform and how pitchers perform when getting the jump on hitters. Last year, Jay about 56% of the time throwing strike one. Today he's thrown 45 pitches, 22 balls, 23 strikes. So he needs to tighten that up a little bit.
Major league average first pitch strikes, what, 62%, something like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It sounds right.
0-2. Obviously, some pitchers can pitch from behind because they have great stuff.
Oh, yeah, or a great changeup. Pete Vukovich won a Cy Young Award one year, and Vuk was great at throwing that 3-1 changeup and popping you up.
Ground ball backhanded. CJ to second. Altuve relaying to first. Bad throw. And Holiday's safe. The ball went out of play, so he'll get second base on this one. And that'll be an error on Altuve's throw. That's his 4th error of the year, allowing Holiday to get from first to second.
Yeah, stumbling out of the box, so it would have been an easy double play. And Altuve just never got the grip on that ball. Under a little bit of duress there from Beltran at second, but that should have been 2.
Now that's a gift for the Cardinals now. Holiday moving over, and it's Alan Craig batting. Craig hit the 2-run homer in the first inning. That's the Cardinals' 30th long ball of the year. They're 4th in the league in homering. Strike 1 for Happ. Redbirds have played 26 games within the National League Central Division already. They're 15-11. This is only the second series they have lost. They lost a series at Chicago to the Cubs. They've won 8. They'll be back here in early June. The Astros don't go to St. Louis until August. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, because it's nice to go to St. Louis in August.
That would really be most people's preference.
I would go April, September would be fine. Oh, well.
Big swing there, makes it 1-2 to Craig.
Craig has an interesting approach to play out. Kind of dips his hands before pulling them up and getting ready to hit. And down and got what appeared to be a cut fastball, maybe a slider from Jay.
Jay's thrown 50 pitches.
You watch Craig, watch the hands. He sets them pretty low initially and then gets them up into a more favorable hitting position as the pitch is being delivered.
Foul ball keeps the count of 1-2 with Freese on deck.
Get the little waggle and then gets him up. Ultimately, everybody kind of ends up, or your goal is to end up in the same position with the hands back a little bit. Try to get that back shoulder up some to drive down through the ball.
Jay Happ's 2-1 here at Minute Maid this season. In 3 starts with a 4.42 ERA. Fouled away.
As starting pitchers, we tend to be head cases. And, I can't speak for everybody. I just remember my own way of thinking sometimes, and it's really bizarre. And for instance, in a game like today, I would have come into this with a certain amount of trepidation, just thinking, what are the chances we're going to sweep the Cardinals this weekend? And we've already won 2. And you just play all kinds of stupid games with yourself. You have to obviously block it out. And once you get on the mound, you forget about all that and you just compete. But it's interesting the things that race through your mind the night before a game or that morning on the way to the ballpark. Or if your team has scored a bunch of runs the last couple of days, you go, we're due to get shut out today.
True. Cycles of baseball.
Yeah, so I think sometimes you got to dumb it down. You got to take some of the thinking out of it sometimes.
Exactly. Last time the Astros swept a defending champion was when they swept a 4-game series from the Phillies in September of 2009.
There were a lot of good players named Rube back in the day. Rube was kind of a country bumpkin, not a real, a nickname given to a guy who wasn't really thoughtful.
Yeah.
If you're Rube, you're probably a pretty good player.
That's cracked out to left field and headed for the seats, but it doesn't quite make it. It goes out to that cutout area, and that'll get another run home to make it 4-0 on a ringing double by Craig. If it had a little more tail on it, it could have reached the Crawford boxes, but it went back into that bullpen area for a double, and Craig now has 2 extra base hits, 3 runs batted in.
Well, there we get one more look at the swing of Craig. This time the ball's up and in a little bit, and he gets the hands pulled in and the barrel to the ball, and that just speaks to the difficulty of competing against really good hitters like Alan Craig. He's not a household name, but this guy can really hit. You saw what he did with the cutter down, so now you take a shot upstairs, try to beat him up there, and that's typically a pretty effective pitch for Happ, but Craig just a real solid major league hitter.
Third double this year, 25th of his career. He hit .315 last year and 200 at bats for St. Louis. Drove in 40. Now after a conference with Castro and Happ, it's Freeze batting.
So the walk in the first inning scores. Here a walk and then a double play that doesn't get turned leads to a run.
That's a strike. And the way the earned runs are calibrated, take the error out of the inning, put the runners back where they were. So now the official scorer would ask himself, okay, does Holiday score from first on the Craig double? Probably not for some. But we'll see what else develops in the inning. 1-1.
That's a difficult task for an official scorer, right? Because if you put him at third, then are you supposed to assume now the infield might play a step in closer?
Exactly. Exactly.
I guess you can't go that far with it.
No, but it brings up a point. These earned runs and unearned runs. You talk about plays not made sometimes more than runs and earned runs. You say, well, it should have been a double play, so then 2 outs, nobody on.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that again, going back to the conversation earlier about analysis, that one of the stats they talk about is fielding independent pitching. Take the earned runs and the unearned runs out of the equation.
Swing and a miss, but the ball is over to Castro's left. He's got to scramble and throw to get Freeze, and just does. And it's out number 2, but Craig is taking third base on this play. And it's ruled a fielder's choice, allowing Craig to take third base. Javier Molina comes up.
Good breaking ball here by Happ. Ball in the dirt. I think he was going to third on the ball in the dirt. I think he should have been ruled advancing on a wild pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it matters.
Craig at third, Molina the batter. Molina singled his first time up. An awful lot of talk about Albert Pujols now that he's moved along from St. Louis to Anaheim. He got a day off last night. Still homerless. And something like 105 at bats this year. There's ball 1. Hit foul and out of play, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And of course, with the Angels off to that tough start, that makes even more of a highlighted situation for Pujols. He's struggling. The team is struggling.
He hit only .245 last year in April, but he hit 7 home runs. This year he's not hitting for average and no power.
Fouled away. It's kind of odd today as the count goes to 1-2. Just looking at the 6 divisions in Major League Baseball. In 4 of the 6 divisions, other than the first place team, no other team is above 500. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
The AL East and the NL East are the exceptions, and those are 2 very strong looking divisions right now. Flared, and Carlos Lee hustles for it over into foul territory and gets there for the catch. Braces himself before he runs into that rail.
The big man.
It's 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left, and the Redbirds lead it now 4-0.
the day. Now think about this one carefully. Here is the question. You'll see it on the screen. It is simply that. Since Minute Maid Park opened in 2000, what opposing player has played the most games versus the Astros in this park? That's over 12 years.
I thought it was going to be a dog question.
Albert Pujols.
And you are correct. And of course, the bottom line on that is that that's going to continue to be a record starting next year, assuming he gets turned around. That he may just outdistance everybody by so far that nobody catches him. Bud heard the bell and he came over to steal it, but he can't reach me in this little cubby hole I'm in.
Well, he did a fine job.
Yeah, see, look at him. There's a frustrated pitcher. Although he pitched pretty well last night.
Oh, he really did.
You should get a guard dog down there.
He has a right to have a moment of levity today after the game he had. The Cardinal run at the top of the inning, an unearned run. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But the Astros would love to get it fired up here, trailing 4-0. It's a poor start for them today. And their comeback ability is going to be tested here with Wainwright shooting for win number 2 of the year. And Redbirds, of course, trying to avoid this sweep before going on to Arizona.
Well, the way the Astros have been swinging the bats lately, they've got a fighting chance.
Wainwright gets strikeout number 4.
Here is the official answer after much study. What opposing player most at bats in this park? Well, it's Albert Pujols. He's on 92 games and holding, but starting next year, that'll just keep zooming up.
Well, unless they trade him.
Well, yeah, let's say, I'm sure they will. Yeah.
You know, everybody's been saying, well, the Astros have had to deal with Albert, and look what he's done to them the last decade. Now they're going to have another decade to deal with him when they go to the American League. Schaefer bounces one to shortstop for Kyle Fields, the 2-hopper. You wouldn't mind dealing with him right now. That's out number 2. And Altuve will follow. Altuve grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. In the opener of the Marlins series tomorrow night, it's Wandy Rodriguez and Carlos Zambrano. Altuve has a birthday today. He's 22.
Happy birthday.
Yep. Willie Mays.
22, one of the youngest in the game still. And Chris Paul, George Clooney, Sigmund Freud, Rabindranath Tagore.
Who?
He was a Hindu poet, Brownie.
Well, you always know the last guy on the list.
He was a Nobel Prize winner. One fine poet. No E. Cummings, but pretty good.
1 and 2. Well, Willie Mays was the only guy on that list who could hit well or better than Jose Altuve, right?
Yeah, I don't think George Clooney was much of a hitter.
No. Struck him out looking. That's 5 strikeouts for Wainwright, breezing through the Astros, and in the first 3 innings, the Cardinals have gone off to a 4-0 lead. MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. May 6, 2001. Jeff Bagwell hits a grand slam and drives in 5 in a 13-7 win in Montreal. Julio Lugo goes 5 for 5, and Richard Hidalgo adds a 3-run home. 4-0 Redbirds. Jay Happ on the mound to face John Jay. Jay hit a fly ball to left field. Something being retrieved from left field right now. Happ allowed the 2-out walk to Holiday, and then a home run by Craig followed it in the first inning. An RBI double by Green in the second, an unearned run in the third. Trying to stop the Cardinals here, and there's strike one on Jay. Jay hitting the number 7 spot in the order today.
Mike Matheny moving him down in the order with a left-handed pitcher on the mound. Despite that 400 batting average, it gives them a pretty dangerous hitter in the 7-hole.
I bet it does. Bounces one up the middle. That is trickling behind second. Lowry can't pick it up. Jay takes a big turn, but he'll go back. And that's a single for Jay. Came in hitting .405, and he's 1 for 2. Cardinals have hits in every inning.
Lowry not happy with himself. Thought he should have made the play on this. But I don't know. If he catches that ball, he would probably have to turn all the way around to make the throw, and I don't think they would have gotten Jay coming out of that left-handed batter's box.
Yeah. Tyler Green follows. He hit the run-producing double to right center in the second inning, scoring Molina. It's ball one. 66 pitches for Jay Happ. One deep to right field. Bogusevic out of room, back toward the corner, opposite field, 2-run homer. Tyler Green, number 2 of the year, and the Cardinals have hit a couple of long balls today and lead it 6-0. 2 homers and 2 doubles for the Redbirds.
Craig and Green teaming up to do the damage here for St. Louis this afternoon. Tyler Green again picking on a fastball out away from him. Maybe time to pound him in because he's shown good power the opposite way. A double earlier in the game on a fastball away. Now this one up and away as well, and he rides it out of here.
6-0 St. Louis. Now Wainwright's the batter. Nobody warming up for Houston. There's strike one. And Ariel Del Rosario just joined the Astros bullpen a couple of days ago. He hasn't pitched yet. Reiner Cruz threw 25 pitches on a rehab outing last night. And he's due to throw again on Monday, throw another 25 pitches for Oklahoma City. Wainwright looks at one in the dirt for a 1-2 count. And Brad Mills will have a different starter Tuesday. Naomi Rodriguez rejoining the club from Oklahoma City to start that game against the Marlins. Wainwright's down on strikes. Strikeout number 3 for Happ. There will be some roster adjustments coming up before Tuesday's game. Anibal Sanchez throws that game for the Marlins Wednesday night at 7:05. It's Lucas Harrell and Josh Johnson. For call is 0 for 2. Chris Johnson made a whale of a play on him, diving to his left to get him in the second inning. Now Heath Bell has 4 blown saves already for the Marlins, and Ozzie Guillen has taken him out of the closer's role for the time being, putting him in more low stress situations. Pitch him earlier in ball games and try to get him back on track before reinstalling him into the closer's spot.
Who are they going to use?
Well, Steve Cishek apparently is the number 1 candidate. But it was funny last night. Wow, Lowry. What a backhanded play. He picked it up on the short hop. He just kind of held his ground and let his hands do the work for him, JD.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great play. Didn't have to move far, but still that ball hammered. A half a step to his right, and then a little pick on the backhanded side. Keeps the feet, steadies himself, gets the out.
Now the shift is on for Carlos Beltran. Grounds it to third. Chris Johnson right there to get him. And it's 2 runs, 2 hits. Tyler Green goes deep. The Redbirds are out in front 6-0.
Jack in the Box. Right now, Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club and buy the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. Astros having some coming from behind to do to help guide them through it. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Nice Sunday for families to be out. She's having a great time, Greg. And a little painted face and some popcorn. Helps the day go well. They might have brought their dogs out early. Cheerleader outfits and some ball gloves. Brian Bogusevic, bottom of the 4th inning. Adam Wainwright has 27 consecutive scoreless innings against the Astros. And there's ball 1. Bogey hit a fly ball to left on a 2-0 pitch back in the first. Wainwright brings it in for a strike. That makes it 1-1. 9 wins for Wainwright against the Astros are his most against any opponent. Slow curve dances in for a 1-2 count to Bogey. Bud Norris now has a 2.16 career ERA against the Redbirds with a 7-2 record against them. Off his foot, foul ball, keeps the count at 1-2.
Wainwright doing a good job today, commanding the bottom of the strike zone with his sinker. He's thrown some good breaking balls as well. This one off the leg of Bogusevic.
Yeah. This will be the 50th pitch for Wainwright. And it's a strikeout pitch.
Climbs the ladder.
6 strikeouts for Big Adam.
Well, it looks like the Wainwright we remember from before he got hurt. The numbers coming into this game said otherwise, but he looks like the same guy.
Carlos Lee worked the count to 3-1. He hit a fly ball caught on the warning track in right field by Carlos Beltran. There's strike 1. Before the Marlins game last night, Ozzie Guillen was asked, who's your closer? Since he moved Heath Bell out of the closer's spot, he said, Mark Burley. Mark Burley pitched a complete game last night.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. Finish the game for me.
They had 4 pitchers unavailable again. And Cishek, who's going to be the closer, apparently short term, was not available because he had pitched 3 innings in relief in an extra inning game the night before. Shot into center field. El Caballo gets his 2nd career hit off Wainwright. Jed Lowry was there for our Brown Hen Center. Great hands of the game in the top of the inning. These 2 shortstops are among the best offensively, and he just robbed for call there. Now Jed comes up after being caught looking in the 2nd inning. Tremendous numbers for Lowry here at the outset of the season. We were scrambling last night, JD, to find double play combos who have hit well for the Astros.
Yeah, not many, are there?
Well,
people, what these guys have done, just in terms of averages so far, anyway.
Right, and it's still 27 games so far, so a little early to be projecting, but nonetheless, it's been fun to watch.
Remember in '83
with Billy Doran, so that was a very good hitting double play combo for the Astros. And then we went back to Joe Morgan and Dennis Menke, 1970. Menke was playing shortstop, and he drove in 92, I think, that year. So that was a very good hitting double play combo in Astros history. Lined out into center field. Lowry bangs one out for a 9-game hitting streak now for Jet.
Astros were 3 hits in the ball game, all in the middle of the diamond. That's the key against a guy like Wainwright, because he's usually pretty effective at keeping the ball down and on the corners. And if you try to pull those pitches, good things generally aren't going to happen. This ball's running away from him, but it's up, so it's a lot easier to get the barrel of the bat on it.
That ties Jed's longest career hitting streak in the big leagues of 9 games, set in August of 2010 with Boston.
Well, typically, if you're going to get back in a game like this, somebody's going to have to pop one. Either that or the other club's going to have to walk a few guys or kick it around a little bit, give you extra opportunities.
Travis Buck would love to pop one.
Yeah, just get a couple guys on and hope somebody can knock one into the seats, and all of a sudden it changes the nature of the game.
Right, going to Travis. He walked in the 2nd, so Wainwright allowing those 7 home runs this season has certainly been vulnerable to the long ball. Brad Mills would love to see number 8 happening. That's flicked in the air and it goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Wainwright finished 3rd in the Cy Young voting in 09, going 19-8. And then the next year he was 20-11. 2.42 ERA. He's had some fantastic seasons. He was all-state in high school in both baseball and football. He was a kicker. Ground ball to first. There's Craig throwing high to second. He gets the force out. He's had a problem with his throws. I threw one away Friday night, and he had an earlier throwing error this season, but that time he gets the force, and we go to Greg Lucas.
Some things to look forward to here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros and the Rangers will renew the Lone Star Series rivalry in a couple of weekends, May 18th through the 20th. On Saturday, May 19th, the first 10,000 fans receive a Nolan Ryan Greatest Moments bobblehead, courtesy of Coca-Cola. So root now and buy tickets for the Lone Star Series at Astros.com.
It'll be a fun weekend here at Minute Maid when the Rangers come in. Preview of next season when they're both in the same division. Chris Johnson singled up the middle in the 2nd inning.
So I'm guessing this is the last year of the Lone Star Series, the battle for the Silver Boot, right? Once you move into the same league, that kind of goes away.
I asked about that. I'll have to check. What a homestand for CJ, 7 for 15 with 3 bombs. A couple of men on base right here. This would be a good spot to chime in. In the dirt, it kicks away off the mask of Molina, and that'll allow Carlos Lee a chance to come home and get the Astros on the board. Buck going to second base on the wild pitch. Got off his mask, and it kicked off to his right. 6-1 game.
A tough one to corral. That breaking ball. It bounces out in front of the plate as far as that one did.
That's a start.
Caught him up on the shoulder, looked like. Wasn't able to slide over and get that in the middle of his chest protector. Well, one in, one more in scoring position.
Yeah.
A lot of outs yet to play with.
Saw Jay Happ. There is a right-hander warming up. Could be Del Rosario. Chris Johnson takes, and that one pops away from Molina as well, with Travis Buck at second after the wild pitch. It's 1-2. Yeah, that is EDR, as we call him, and Ariel Del Rosario. He was working long relief several days ago in Oklahoma City. Went more than 3 innings in a game. Pitcher spot could come up here if the Astros keep the rally going. Wainwright, though, dampens things with strikeout number 7. 1 run on 2 hits. 6-1 St. Louis.
Opener against the Miami Marlins tomorrow. Wandy Rodriguez gets the start. He'll go against Carlos Zambrano. Wandy off to a very good start, hence the 1.64 ERA in 6 starts. He earned the win and helped the Astros to an 8-1 victory over the Mets in the series finale, allowing just 1 run on 6 hits in 7 innings. That game, you can see it tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Houston. Astros Live at 6:30. That's your Mazda game break. Let's go back to the guys in the booth.
Thank you, Bart. Jay Happ, probably in his last inning of work, delivers ball 1 to Matt Holliday. Holliday has walked and reached on a fielder's choice play. He has scored 2 runs in this game. And Ariel Del Rosario warming up for Houston. And Happ is due to bat second in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 2-ball, no strike count. Jay had pitched quality starts in the first 3 home outings. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Case of the most recent one, 6 1/3. Today it's been a struggle for him, and the count runs to 2-0 on Holliday. It's actually 3-0 now. The Astros have had a run of good pitching, though. 3 balls and a strike. Of their 14 home games, they've had 11 quality starts at home. That's in for a strike. 3-2 for Jay.
Holliday taking a 3-1 heater right there.
And ball 4 puts him on. That's the 3rd walk. Jay is just not really getting in that strike zone reliably today.
I don't think he just, in that instance, after Holliday took the 3-0, then the 3-1, he probably figured, I'm not going to get away with another 3-2 fastball right through the last 2, so he tried to paint that outside corner and just missed.
Holiday aboard for Craig, who's done plenty of damage today. A homer, a double, 3 runs batted in. 81 pitches, 47 have been strikes for Jay.
Starts him with a changeup there. Craig's been good. He's hit what appeared to be a cut fastball down, then a high fastball. So now starts him with a changeup. And that's what happens when you're facing a hitter like this. It's hard. You're trying to figure out, well, how do I get this guy out?
He fouls it back. Well, Lance Berkman has hit slightly over 400 lifetime against the Astros. 425. Alan Craig should be over 400 now lifetime against the Astros with his 2-for-2 day. He was at 393 entering today. He's only had 28 at bats though before this game. So he's Lance Berkman today. Ground ball to shortstop to Hopper. Lowry gets it to Altuve. Altuve turning it over to Carlos Lee for a double play. He winds up on the deck, but he hung in to turn that double play before Holiday crashed in at second base.
Well, that time he made sure he set himself, got a good grip on that ball before making the turn. The error earlier when he tried to be too quick to avoid contact. This time he said, you know what, I don't care if the big guy hits me or not, I'm going to turn a double play. And he hung in there against Holiday, and that's not easy to do.
Wow.
It's a big man coming at you.
It's a massive mismatch at second base there. Holiday versus Altuve. David Freese looks at ball one. He has whiffed twice in this game.
How many Kentucky Derby jokes Altuve had to endure in the clubhouse yesterday. Yeah, you know he was getting hammered with that stuff.
2-0. Didn't think about that.
Who are you riding today, Jose? I guarantee you're a bunch of that.
Holiday's listed at 6'4", 235.
Altuve's been hearing the short jokes for a time now. I don't think it bothers him too much. He just here, you want me to share my batting average with you? You need a couple hundred points? I can spare some.
Yeah, he's been dealing with that his whole life.
We were talking earlier about Lowry and possibly CJ being a player of the week this week. Altuve probably would have had one of those in his pocket by now, if not for Matt Kemp.
Sure. Freese takes the ball, and that is walk number 4 for Happ. Yadier Molina will follow. And the Astros again, even though Happ has been struggling, got the big double play ball, and they want to have him finish out the inning so they don't have to use another pitcher, and they can hit for his spot in the order. Doug Brocail coming out. Molina singled and scored in the second, then he fouled out in the third. You know, we were talking earlier, JD, about closers, and with Heath Bell now being moved out for Miami. Just thinking about all the closers who have been injured this year. And we were coming up with this list. Houston Street now is on the disabled list. Of course, Mariano Rivera, Brian Wilson of the Giants, Ryan Madsen of the Reds didn't make it to the opener. Sergio Santos of Toronto on the DL as well. Big cut there by Molina, strike one. And then you've got the closers who have been moved out of those roles. Heath Bell, Carlos Marmol has lost his job as closer with the Cubs. The White Sox had Hector Santiago, and they've now said Chris Sale's going to be their guy. Had Andrew Bailey injured with Boston. Joaquin Soria was injured with Kansas City, and Drew Storen with Washington. That's a ton of closers either going down or losing their jobs this year.
Well, in all those instances, managers have a chance to manage their bullpen differently if they want to, but they never do. Well, I shouldn't say they never do. They rarely do. Usually it's just a matter of them naming a new guy, the closer.
Fly ball to left. Travis Puck looks up at the seats, feeling for the wall, and reaches up. Travis gauged it and caught it for the third out. No runs, no hits. A man stranded in the middle of 5. The Redbirds lead it 6-1.
Jose Cruz at the Whataburger at Gulf Freeway and Woodbridge on Tuesday. They'll be signing autographs from 11 to noon, and while you're there, register to win the ultimate What a Fan experience, which includes autographed memorabilia, sweet tickets, and a chance to throw out a first pitch. Bill?
Sounds like fun. We'll be there. Thanks, Patty. Now here's Castro leading it off in the home fifth inning. He struck out in the second with 2 men aboard. Wainwright throwing ball 1 to him. Pinch hitter Justin Maxwell on deck to bat for Jay Happ. Wainwright slots that in over the outside edge for a 1-ball 1-strike count for Adam. There's Maxwell preparing to pinch hit for Happ, who's thrown 92 pitches. Wainwright goes to a 2-1 count on Jason Castro. Last 3 starts for Wainwright against Houston, 8 shutout innings in all 3. So at least they scored off him after he had a string of 27 consecutive scoreless frames against the Astros.
Free swing here for Jason Castro. 3 balls, 1 strike, 5-run lead. Wainwright will be looking just to pump this one over the heart of the plate, I would think.
3-2. Cincinnati is holding down second place currently in the NL Central with 13 wins and 13 losses. The Astros are only a half game behind the Reds in third.
Astros riding the 5-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 10. Best record in the National League over the last 10 games.
They're 1 game in front of Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. They're 3 in front of the Cubs.
Late toast with a shutout going for the Reds today. They're beating the Pirates 5-zip.
Up the middle, and it's sharply hit into center field. Castro's aboard with a leadoff single. Now Maxwell will pinch hit for Happ.
Getting that good through the middle approach, paying off. All 4 of the Astros hits now through the middle of the diamond.
Maxwell, a 300 hitter now with 1 homer, 4 runs batted in, was the starting center fielder last night. He had a pair of doubles and a walk and drove in a run. So Happ in 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, walked 4 and fanned 3. And Del Rosario's been warming up. Maxwell takes a look at ball 1.
It's kind of a rocky afternoon for Jay. A little wobbly with his command. Made some mistakes out over the plate.
J Max doing well as a pinch hitter, is 3 for 11 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. His first Astro plate appearance was a pinch hit homer. He does not chase there. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. Wainwright would love to have him go for that pitch. Make it 2-0. Maxwell has a 3-game hitting streak, 4 for his last 8. He's hit 2 pinch homers in his career, going 8 for 34 for a .235 average. And looking at a strike there, 2 balls and a strike. The worst start for Wainwright against Houston was 3 runs allowed in 9 innings in 08. And he beat Roy Oswalt in that game 4-3. He has just been at his best. And he was a reliever who faced the Astros in relief several times in 06. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Since 07, Wainwright has the 3rd lowest ERA among major league pitchers, behind only Roy Halladay and Clayton Kershaw, 2.93. Grounded foul. One of the elite pitchers in the game. Jay Happ hoping Maxwell can get on. The Astros can stir it up, do some damage against Wainwright, and start turning this game around, trailing by 5.
Hang it.
Fly ball out to left center field. John Jay going for it. Holliday back, and Jay slides and is able to make the catch. Another fantastic play by John Jay here this weekend for out number 1.
That was a bit of a hanger. Maxwell put a good swing on it. Looked like maybe extra bases. And both outfielders in hot pursuit out there in left center field, and Jay able to come away with his sliding catch. Holliday at the last pulls up as Jay's calling for it. Oh, nice play.
That could have resulted in disaster for the Redbirds. It's a big help for Wainwright, who's thrown 11 of 18 first pitch strikes. 76 pitches for the game, facing Schaefer. Schaefer 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. A little chop to second, charged, and there's the tag and the double play. Castro running into the tag, and it becomes a 4-3 double play, turned by Tyler Green there with a quick glove hand. And after 5, it is 6-1 Redbirds.
Is proud to present a new show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston, or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. And Ariel Del Rosario comes in to make his 2012 Astros debut. The 26-year-old right-hander being recalled on Wednesday from AAA Oklahoma City. Last year 0-3 with a 4.58 ERA. And as he pitched this year at AAA Oklahoma City, had a 3.14 earned run average for 14 out of third innings. We get more from Doug Brocail.
EDR's back in the big leagues. We need an arm that can provide sink, face both left-handed and right-handed hitters. He'll attack with his sinker. He attacks with his slider. Been working on a changeup, doing very well and getting better.
And Ariel Del Rosario, who came up with the Reds, and the Astros claimed him on waivers in September of 2010. Faces John Jay, who's 1 for 2 and has scored a run. Pretty good pitch, but apparently a little low for ball 1. .408 for the season now for Jay. Shoots one foul. When he came up a couple of years ago, there was one of those minor league scouting notebooks and with a list of all the prospects and described each one, and the description on him was that he had helicopter hands. Those hands in a circle. He eliminated some of that hand action. It's just preparatory stuff, JD.
Yeah, I mean, It's fine as long as you get your hand set and you're ready to hit, and obviously he's been able to do that. To a line when it's when you're going bad, it's a hitch. When you're going good, it's a timing mechanism.
Well put. 2 balls, 2 strikes with Tyler Green on deck. Pitcher due up third. Got that for a long lens. Carlos Lee backs up to get the bounce. Tossing to Del Rosario. There's out number 1. There's already a final in from New York. The Mets have beaten Arizona 3-1. R.A. Dickey going to 4-1. Beating Trevor Cahill, and Frank Francisco getting save number 7. Terry Collins Mets 15-13. They've been one of the pleasant surprises in the National League so far. Tyler Green with the RBI double and a 2-run homer, batting 8th with a big day going. Arizona slips a game under 500 at 14-15 now. Pitch in tight. There's ball 1.
Yeah, well, EDR throws that sinker. It's going to run in on right-handed hitters. We've seen Tyler Green effectively go the other way off J. Happ on fastballs out away from him. We'll see if he can turn on an inside fastball from EDR. He's going to see a slider here. Now he's got a favorable count again. So a guy who appears to be pretty locked in with double home runs so far today, now in a favorable count.
There was the view from behind Marwin Gonzalez on the Astros bench. Pitch way in for a ball. Now 3-0.
EDR hasn't been on the mound in a while. It would be understandable if he wasn't particularly sharp with his location.
No, that's for sure. Last pitch last Sunday against Round Rock for Oklahoma City. There's a walk to Green. 5th walk of the day for Astros pitching. Adam Wainwright takes a look down at Jose Oquendo. Chris Maloney, the coach at first base. Now Wainwright will get the verbal recommendation. Phillies are in Washington tonight. It'll be Cole Hamels and Jordan Zimmerman in our nation's capital. And the Beltway boys holding down first with an 18-9 record. Tied with the Dodgers for the best National League record right now. Runner takes off. Here's a throw from Castro bouncing, and a stolen base for Tyler Green, his 3rd of the year.
I bet you Jose Oquendo said take a pitch.
Yeah.
Let him steal a base. Pretty good aggressive baseball there by the Cardinals with 1 out in the inning already, as opposed to just having a Wainwright sacrifice and relying on just one man to drive him in and steal a base. Now you got a couple chances to score him, and Wainwright's a pretty good hitter.
2-0.
You already got a 5-run lead, so you're feeling like you're playing with house money a little bit.
Johnson's even with the bag at 3rd. That's on the edge for a strike to Wainwright. 2 balls and a strike. Milwaukee and San Francisco have a late afternoon start. Sean Markham and Matt Cain to tee it up there. Green takes off for 3rd. There's a bouncer. CJ was going over to cover. Now he fields it and gets him out. He was breaking for the bag as he had to, and then that made it easier for Wainwright to bounce one to his left, but he couldn't quite get it where he wanted to for a hit, and CJ got him for the 2nd out. Green works his way over to 3rd with 2 outs in the inning. Good base runner. The steal was his 3rd of the year. The Cardinals are 3rd in the league in base stealing, and he's one of their guys who can pilfer a bag every now and then. Rafael Furcal 0 for 3. He's had 2 good plays made on him in the infield. It's ball 1.
Matheny there, I'm sure was hoping, and I'm not sure if Green just went on his own or they were encouraging him to steal that bag, but hoping the ball wouldn't be put in play there, so you'd have a couple of chances with a man on third. Astros would have had to pull the infield in.
2 balls, no strikes to Furcal. Furcal made the jump when he was in the Braves organization from Class A to the major leagues. That's pretty rare. Rookie of the year in the National League.
What if at the age of 20, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really young.
Bouncer up the middle, slowly hit. Altuve, quick throw on to first, not in time, and the run scores to make it 7-1. RBI single for Furcal. That's his 13th run batted in.
That's a soft run if ever there was one. But again, a walk, the key to it. Green works to walk, steals second. Third on the ground ball, although he probably would have had a stolen base there as well, and now scores on this little slow ground ball to second base. Can't call it what I really want to call it. I'll just call it a slow ground ball.
Right. Tyler Green's legs a big part of that run. Cardinals have 7 runs on 6 hits. They lead it by 6 again, and it's now Beltran who's 0 for 2 with a walk. He looks at ball 1. Astros bullpen has worked its way up the ladder to the 3rd best ERA among National League relievers, 2.85. Low for ball 2 to Carlos Beltran. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Now the plan for Reiner Cruz, who's on the disabled list with a sprained ankle, having sidelined him, is to have him throw another 25 pitches tomorrow and then be reevaluated. He struggled a little bit, we understand, last night. So the Astros pitching staff will be a little bit in flux with the injury to Kyle Weiland, putting him on the disabled list, and he had some surgery to remove an infection from his shoulder, so it appears he'll be out for a few weeks now. Anewy Rodriguez will take his spot in the rotation Tuesday night. And Reiner Cruz presumably comes back at some point. 3 balls, a strike. Matt Holliday's on deck.
Fox Tracks is brought to you by Steel. You don't want to throw too many of those number 4s to Carlos Beltran.
Smacks this one past the diving Carlos Lee into the right field corner, fielded by Bogusevic. Furcal going first to third on the single by Beltran. But with 2 outs, the Cardinals stir up more trouble.
Well, he did indeed throw a pitch in that same spot. Beltran got on top of it, hit it hard, beyond the reach of Carlos Lee. EDR doesn't typically work up in the strike zone. Not when he's on his game. It's sinkers down, sliders moving out of the strike zone. But when he's elevating, you know he's not on his game, and he has not been here this afternoon. 21 pitches made, 13 balls, 8 strikes.
Matt Holliday has walked twice. He's 0 for 1. This fly ball into center, headed for Schaefer to end the Cardinals' 6th inning. 1 run scoring on 2 hits with 2 men stranded. It's 7-1 Birds. nicely, and he's done his part.
Well, this is what we've seen from Wainwright pretty much every time he's pitched against the Astros. It's remarkable how good he has been, regardless of who the personnel are in those red uniforms. He's been dynamite.
Jose Altuve shoots one up the middle. He gets a knock. That gets it started here in inning number 6, the way Jason Castro did in the 5th. The leadoff single. Altuve gets his 37th hit of the season. He's 4th in the league.
And again, right back up the middle.
Well, in fact, all 5 of the Astros hits have come to center field. Like that. And they've all been singles. Now Brian Bogusevic would like to keep it rolling. He is 0 for 2, fly ball to left and a strikeout. Plays off that one. And yeah, the appeal goes to third. He did not swing. Godberry with a call. It's ball 1. Indians 4, Rangers 2. They're in the top of the 9th in Cleveland. Jason Kipnis hit his 5th for the Tribe. Strike evens the count at 1-1. Detroit leads the White Sox 2-1. They're in the top of the 8th at Detroit. Adam Dunn connected again for the White Sox, number 9 for him. Austin Jackson hit his 4th, and Prince Fielder his 4th for the Tigers. It's a tight race between those two in the AL Central. Cleveland actually the leader, a game and a half in front of Detroit.
See, it's going to be interesting to pay attention to this Pujols story going forward. Now, obviously, Pujols and Adam Dunn are different hitters, but Adam Dunn got off to a slow start last year with his new club in Chicago and never really was able to recover. And everybody's saying, well, Pujols, he'll figure it out. He'll get it turned around. And in all likelihood, he will. But, it does happen sometimes where a guy just scuffles all year long.
Yeah.
And typically not a guy with Pujols' credentials.
Bogusevic looked back at the home plate umpire. It was strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Called it a foul tip. Ball hit the dirt.
Yeah, that's what he heard.
Yeah. Little easy roller out to second. Tyler Green takes the out at first. Altuve to second base, 1 down. And it'll be Carlos Lee.
Tried to stay back, got that front foot down, had the hands back, but still couldn't quite stay through that ball.
Lee with that single and the run scored in the 4th inning, 1 for 2 in this game. Carlos brought a .241 lifetime average against the Cardinals into this game today. Cincinnati 5, Pittsburgh nothing. Top of the 7th at Pittsburgh. Todd Frazier hit his 1st for the Reds. Drew Stubbs number 3. And you mentioned Latos pitching well. 6 innings of 2-hit shutout ball with 11 strikeouts for Latos against those Buccos who have had all kinds of problems scoring runs this year. The Astros later on this week will go on a Pennsylvania road trip to Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Carlos looks at a curve in the dirt, gets behind Molina, but not very far. 85 pitches now for Wainwright.
Yeah, first visit to those cities, our first look at those clubs, and our only visit to Philadelphia.
Phillies are 13-15 right now.
Pittsburgh coming into play today had scored only 78 runs in the first 27 ball games.
Ouch.
Man, Steve Blass would have a hard time winning with that run support.
1-1 to Carlos. It's always good to see Steve when we go up there. He doesn't travel to do broadcasting anymore for them. That's strike 2. Baltimore and Boston are tied 5-5 after 6. There's the swing.
Well, Carlos trying to generate a little big leg kick as he shifts the way back. He's hoping to get a fastball, and he was fooled by that breaking ball. That's, but you see him now with 2 strikes. He won't take that big swing here, I don't think. Crouch down a little bit, stay on that backside, use the hands a little bit more.
Fine shot.
Hit a rocket, only foul, unfortunately, but that's what's made him such a good hitter over the years. Such a smart hitter. He knows when it's time to maybe try to cheat on one and inflict some damage, but generally with 2 strikes, he'll take that approach where he's just willing to hit a line drive up the middle.
When he first came up, he really swung at a lot of pitches out of the zone. For the White Sox. John Rooney was talking about that. He's a Cardinal radio broadcaster. He was with the White Sox when Carlos first came to the big leagues. Just looking back at the numbers, they really have changed. In 2000, his second full year, he struck out 94 times in 572 at bats. He had 38 walks, but the numbers have come much more into balance for him. Since those early years, the White Sox were able to play discipline. He hammers this one into right field past the diving Green. Beltran comes up with another sharp single to right for lead.
There's that 2-strike approach. We've seen him hit the ball to right field a lot in the last week or so.
Yep. Right on the ball. Now it's 1st and 3rd, 1 out for Jed Lowry. Lowry singled into center in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Art Howe said the other night on the postgame, JD, he thinks Carlos is going to start launching some balls to the pull side the way he's hammering them to right field right now. Victor Marte's warming up for St. Louis. Six hits for the Astros. They've all been singles. First 5 are up the middle. Carlos going the other way with that one. And it's ball 1. Marte throwing hard for the Redbirds.
Astros in desperate need of a 3-run home run.
That would change the complexion of things a little bit. Travis Buck on deck. For a call, fields the 1 hopper, steps on second, throws to first for the double play. Second double play in as many innings for the Redbirds. No runs, 2 hits, and a man stranded after 6. 7-1 St. Louis.
Efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe. It's probably a Hyundai. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today.
Little Dixieland right there on the concourse. Fans settling in for inning number 7.
Wish I could play the banjo.
Oh, yeah.
Can't have a bad time playing the banjo, can you?
No, you probably could take a few easy lessons and get up to speed on that. There's ball 1 to Alan Craig. He's had a big day with a 2-run homer, an RBI double. Currently hitting .419 lifetime against the Astros. He's up to .400 this season. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. That's the dog section. What do you think the most popular dog name is right now?
Molly? Prince? Duke?
Yeah. 1 and 2. You don't hear Fido that much anymore.
No, it's too much of a cliche. Norm? I think Norm's a good dog name.
Norm is a good dog. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fernando Abad's warming up in the bullpen. It's Oakland 8, Tampa Bay 5 after 6 in St. Petersburg. Brandon Inge hit his 2nd home run. He just joined the A's from Detroit. They released him. Strikeout of Craig. That's out number 1 in this inning. And the first strikeout for Del Rosario. David Freese comes up. He has 2 strikeouts and a walk.
This is that little slider. He's kind of fading out of the zone.
Tampa Bay has the best record in the majors right now, 19-9. B.J. Upton hit his 2nd homer. Fernando Abad there.
The Rays seem to be hanging in there okay after the loss of Evan Longoria.
Yeah. I think he tweeted something the other day about them having the best record. 22,288 the paid attendance on a Sunday. Crowds have really been good this homestand. The Astros have reeled off 5 straight wins.
Yeah, that helps.
It sure does.
Encourage fans to come on out. It's a fun team to watch play. All these young guys.
Yes. It's been a good time.
Altuve and Schaefer have been great stories in the early going. J.D. Martinez scuffling here lately, but still pretty solid stuff from him.
2 and 2. Tomorrow, you're going to be out with Chris Snyder at a school.
Parker Elementary.
On the Fielder's Choice Whataburger program. As the Astros hit the schools tomorrow. Fly ball to right. Bogusevic backing. Looking at the wall. Leaping, and Bogusevic picks it out of the sky. Round number 2.
Cardinals making a bid for their 3rd home run of the day. David Freese would have had it if not for that fine play by Brian Bogusevic. To DeWalt and up.
Very good timing. 2 down, and it's Molina batting next. He has a single in 3 trips. Travis Buck made that catch leaping in front of the left field wall. See, Jed Lowry's going to be out with Francisco Romero at one of the schools, Escamilla Intermediate School. David Carpenter's with Brett Dolan. They're going to be with Chris Snyder and Fernando Rodriguez with Dave Raymond tomorrow.
Talking to kids about making positive choices.
It's a good program. 2 balls and a strike. Photo time. Great background for a shot. Popped up. Chris Johnson over. And he can't get to it. It's on the dugout roof. You know, you mentioned just having a good time, and we've seen people doing that all throughout this homestand and really for a long time here at Minute Maid Park. This year, a different tone to things with Altuve and his enthusiasm and his outstanding hitting. And now he's garnering a lot of all-star votes. J.D. Martinez getting all-star votes. So I asked, when are the first vote totals going to be released this year? And Gene Diaz said, well, they'll be coming out in late May. And He'll check for the exact date on that. But then after that point that they're first released every week, we'll get an update on the All-Star totals for those of you who are voting right now, so you'll know how your favorite candidates stand. Line shot to CJ. And the 7th inning goes 1-2-3. Not routine, but it goes well for Del Rosario. In the middle of the 7th inning, the Cardinals lead it. There's the line drive play by CJ. It's 7-1. We'll keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America. And a longtime foe of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have the upper hand at the moment. They lead at 7-1, and they have sent Adam Wainwright back out for the bottom of the 7th inning with Buck, Johnson, and Castro due to bat. Wainwright's due up third in the Cardinal 8th. Mark Zepchinski is warming up, a lefty. Buck is 0 for 1 with a walk.
Mike Matheny will probably ask for just this one last inning from Adam Wainwright before making the move to the bullpen, and he's got Jabzinski getting ready just in case he needs to make the move sooner than that.
Rolled for Carlsright. He throws off balance, and Buck is safe. Good effort, but it looked all along like a hit, and that's what it was for Travis Buck.
Effercall possessed with one of the better throwing arms among National League shortstops, but even he not able to get Buck on this one. Got a lot on the throw after leaving his feet, but Buck sniffing that hit, busting it down the line.
Yeah. He's on with the 7th single for the Astros. All their hits have been singular. Chris Johnson got one of those back in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. Fouls it away. They strike 1. Oh, 94 pitches for Wainwright, his high for the year. Freeze gets it to second, and then the relay from Green offline. Looked like another double play, which would have been their 3rd in as many innings, but Green's throw pulled Craig off the base. But Johnson is safe at first.
Seems like anytime the Astros get something going, the Cardinals turn a double play. This would have been another one. Green's throw sails on him.
Now Castro's the batter. He's 1 for 2 with Matt Downs coming out to the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot due up next. Abad in the bullpen.
Only been 3 putouts by outfielders in this game for the Cardinals. So strikeouts and a lot of ground balls from Wainwright. Obviously doing a nice job of keeping the ball down. That's why all the Astros hits have been singles too. They really haven't been able to elevate and drive the ball off the big righty.
It's 2-0. Yeah, in the king and the court theory of pitching, Wainwright probably could survive with his infielders and John Jay today, the way things have been going.
That's why these 7 home runs yielded by Wainwright already this year jump out at you, because he's a guy that over the years has been pretty good at keeping the ball in the ballpark. But again, just coming back from injury and a bit of a sluggish start for him, but this is the kind of a game where he could really take off from here.
That's good for a strike. That makes it 3-1 to Castro. Cardinals have left 5 to the Astros 4 men left on base.
Wainwright trying to find out who his double play partner is on a comebacker, and he can't get anybody's attention out there. Finally.
Carl said he's the guy. Three balls, 2 strikes for all the talk we hear. Cardinal clubhouse very loose, relaxed, loving Mike Matheny and his approach. 100 pitches now for Wainwright. He has a lot of credibility, of course, from his years of playing the game in that Cardinal clubhouse. There's Green going to second. Furcal does not have a double play throw, and that was another look at something that might have turned into what we've seen in the 5th and 6th innings, but Castro hit it to Green's left. Starting pitchers for tomorrow night are presented by Chevron. We'll take a look at a new matchup. Carlos Zambrano, who pitched against the Astros in Miami, 0-2 with a 2.53 ERA, and Wandy Rodriguez has one of the best ERAs in baseball, 1.64.
Big Z looking for his first win despite a very good ERA. We mentioned earlier the Marlins playing good ball lately. They've been a very streaky team. They've won 5 in a row, and they're just getting underway in San Diego this afternoon.
Matt Downs is the pinch hitter now for Del Rosario, who in 2 innings allowed 2 hits and a run. He had a walk and a strikeout. And Downs, a 189 hitter with 2 bombs, has driven in 4. Downs will strike 1. Matt 1 for 8 on this homestand with a home run. and hit homers in consecutive games for the first time in his career last Sunday at Cincinnati, and Monday as the homestand started against the Mets. And he was kidding me the other day. He said, I need to hit more singles. That's in the air on the left side and drifting over to foul ground. David Freese to end the Astros 7th. No runs a hit, a man stranded after 7, 7-1 St. Louis.
This week, supporting Methodist Cancer Center continues this week to raise awareness for breast cancer research. Join the Astros tomorrow as they host the Marlins, and 10,000 fans will receive a pink pashmina scarf courtesy of the Methodist Cancer Center. Root now and buy tickets at Astros.com. Bill?
All right, thank you, Patty. 7-1 Redbirds here. They come up in the 8th inning. Fernando Abad will be facing them. He has no decisions. His ERA is 7.36, and he worked a hitless inning last night in the Astros 8-2 win. So that's 2 appearances in which he has not given up a hit, but he's been tagged for 3 home runs. That little guy could care less.
He's just doing away with the spoon. Just go right to the source. Just stick the mug right in there and get whatever you can get.
May have an injury to Abad. Not sure why the home
I think there's a little something on his sleeve. He might have some white on his sleeve, but I'm concerned might be an issue with the hitters.
Yeah, could be a distraction for the hitter if he sees something white other than the baseball. So Jerry Meals talks it over.
Who's the guy, the pitcher with the Blue Jays a few years back? He had so many tattoos they made him wear long sleeves.
I can't remember, but yeah, it's true. They did.
It was deemed that his tattoos were too disconcerting for the hitters.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch, I think. John Jay's 1 for 3. Reached on an infield hit and scored on the 2-run Tyler Green 4th inning homer. He gets a breaking pitch, and it's strike 1. Albert Pujols is returning to the lineup today for the Angels. Hitting 194. Roll to the right side. Now Altuve gets it on to Carlos Lee. 1 out for Abad. Yeah, that Angel Club just really has been mystifying to a lot of people after all the money Artie Moreno spent on that team. Out of the gate very, very slowly with an 11-17 record. So it's not just Albert Pujols. Tyler Green with an RBI double, a 2-run homer, a walk, a steal, 2 runs scored. He's had a day. Strike to Green. The potent number 8 hitter right there.
Well, the Angels and everybody else out west in the American League got a little help from the Cleveland Indians today. The Indians beat Texas 4-2. Ubaldo Jimenez threw 7 shutout innings against that Ranger lineup. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is.
Yu Darvish suffering his first loss of the year.
Blue Jays 1, Angels nothing. Bottom of the third at Anaheim. Jays are 16-12 out of the gate. And they haven't had a lot from Jose Bautista yet. Fly ball left. Travis Buck watching it, and he's helpless as this one goes into the seats. It's the fourth home run allowed by Fernando Abad in 4 innings of work. And Green gets his second of the game, giving him a 4 RBI day.
Abad just got it. He's got a pretty good changeup, but he makes too many mistakes, so he leaves it up in the strike zone. He's not a real hard thrower, so he doesn't have that advantage when he comes with the off-speed pitch. But, his home run rate as a major league pitcher is just atrocious. What a day for Tyler Green. Oh, my goodness.
Pretty good number 8 hitter. Let's see, Abad now 4 homers. He's given up 12 home runs in 42 innings in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Pinch hitter is Shane Robinson batting for Wainwright. And that's ball 1 to Robinson. 342 for Shane with a homer. He's driven in 5. First 2 home run game for Tyler Green. And Carlos Beltran hit one a few days ago against the Pirates. A couple of home runs in that game. He drove in 7. Robinson takes a look at that one. He is 0 for 2 so far in this series. 3-0 to Shane. Wainwright in 7 innings allowed the Astros 7 hits, all of them singles and 1 run. He had only 1 walk and he struck out 7. So right in line with what he normally does against the Astros. Has a career 1.54 ERA against Houston, and he could be 10-1 lifetime against the Astros if he wins this one.
Not quite Oswalt versus the Reds, but he's getting there. Yeah, there's some anger in Abad after that home run. Yeah, he's still mad.
2 outs now.
It's nothing but fastballs against Robinson, and he was able to slip this last one by him for the strikeout.
Nine hits for the Redbirds. 3 of them have gone out of the park. Tyler Green had 1 homer, Alan Craig none when the game started, and they have collaborated on the 3 long balls. That's got to be a good sign for Mike Matheny as he gets the playing time apportioned for people who have not been in there a whole lot, and they come through. That's ball 1. Two balls, no strike.
Abad's got enough fastball to compete at the big league level. He's not a real hard thrower, but he throws 80, 89, 90 miles an hour, and there's plenty of guys that pitch at that velocity successfully, but you have to be pretty precise. You see Castro for the second time telling him, hey, keep that front shoulder in. Drive it towards me. Falling off of it a little bit.
And falling behind as well. 3-0. Call looks at a strike. Will Middlebrooks hit his first home run for Boston. It's 5-5. Baltimore and Boston, top of the 8th. And ball 4 puts Furcal on for Carlos Beltran. 6 walks for Astros pitchers today. Beltran has been on a couple of times with a walk and a single. And he checks that swing. There's ball 1. Well, with the Marlins coming in tomorrow night, it'll be interesting to see what this final series of the year brings between those two, because they exchanged 3 5-4 games in Miami on that first road trip. A couple of them going to extra innings. Very hard fought affairs.
Hanley Ramirez still scuffling, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And the two guys at the top of the lineup aren't doing much at all. Bonifacio and Reyes. Fly ball left center field, and Schaefer will play it on one bounce. A looping single for Beltran.
And big Josh Johnson coming back from surgery. He's still struggling. Has an ERA of 6-something. He'll bring that into his start on Wednesday.
And Matt Holliday with a pair of walks, 0 for 2 with a run scored. 2 runs scored, actually. 10 hits for the Redbirds now. A bird of different feathers watching.
The lonesome dove.
Strike one. Oakland 9, Tampa Bay 5. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Dodgers and Cubs have been delayed for a while. Travis Wood has been called up to take that start for Chicago. He came up from the minor leagues. Dodgers are 18-9. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Yankees lead 7-2 at Kansas City. Robinson Cano hit his second home run. Nick Swisher, number 7.
Cano, another guy that's off to a very sluggish start.
True. Boy, he's one of the premier players in baseball. And Matt Garza apparently was sick and couldn't take that start for the Cubs today. 1 ball, 2 strikes as David Carpenter gets loose for Houston. It's Atlanta 4, Colorado nothing. They've played 4 at Coors Field. Freddie Freeman hit his 6th home run. 2-2.
Brandon Beachy for Atlanta today. He's having a very nice year.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive here, I thought.
Yeah, I like that guy's stuff.
Doug Brocail watching as Abad, pitcher number 3 of the day, tries to get out of this 8th inning jam with 2 men on and 2 outs. 1 run home. This one gets by Castro and allows the runners to move up to 2nd and 3rd now. Wild pitch for Abad. He's thrown 24 pitches in the inning now, 12 of each. Detroit pitched well and beat the White Sox 3-1. Rick Porcello going to 3-2. Jose Valverde got his 5th save. Fly ball center field. Schaefer waiting to put it away, and it's 1 run, 2 hits, 2 men left for the Redbirds, and they lengthen their lead to 8-1. Light is a very good catch, well timed at right field at the wall by Brian Bogusevic. Looked like he robbed a home run on Freeze back in the 7th inning. Sure did. One of those bring back catches by Bogey. It's 8-1. The Redbirds go with lefty reliever Mark Zepchinski, and Shane Robinson stays in the game in left field after pinch hitting for Wainwright. Wainwright in 7 innings, allowing 7 hits, 1 run, walking 1, fanning 7. There's Robinson in left, and it'll be the top of the Houston lineup. Schaefer, with that on-base streak of 25 straight games to open the season, has not been on base today. Right now, he's tied for the club record of 25 straight games reaching base with Dennis Menke in 1970, and a chance to hold that record all by himself, and this looking like his last shot at it today. Jordan has struck out and hit the ball on the ground twice. There is strike 1.
Zepchinski joining the Cardinals last year from the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's see if Jordan can surpass Dennis Menke here off this tough left-hander.
Well, this is the same situation as Friday night when he came up in the 8th inning against Zepchinski, and even though he had scored 2 runs, officially he had not been on base. He was 0 for 4. Zepchinski 0-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Zepchinski walked him Friday night on a 3-2 pitch. 2 balls and a strike here to Schaefer.
Zepchinski's fastball 91, 90, somewhere in that range. Not a real hard thrower. Slider good. Changeup.
Bouncer up the middle. Let's see if he can beat it out. Tyler Green with a good arm throws him out. And Schaefer's 0 for 4. We go to Greg Lucas.
I hope you're aware of the fact that you can follow the Astros with MLB.com @BAT12 app. That's good for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. You can get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and a whole lot more. All you've got to do is text @BAT to 31826, or you can visit Astros.com for all the details, guys.
Thanks, Greg. Altuve leading all Major League second basemen in batting average. 1 for 3 today. Takes ball 1. 3 for 12 in this series. 346 his current average. He also leads all Major League second basemen in hits and on base average. And gets another knock to left field. That's his 15th multi-hit game. Best in the National League. 2 for 4 today.
Twofer.
On his birthday. 38 hits for him this season. This is his 27th game.
Now tied with Derek Jeter, leading all the major leagues in multi-hit games. Jeter just off to a remarkable start.
Bogusevic is 0 for 3. Yeah, Jeter has been something else this year.
Was it last year or 2 years ago where there was so much talk about Jeter being demoted to the back of the lineup or maybe even taken out of the lineup because of his struggles?
Yeah, I can't remember which.
Now he's going off again.
Yeah, one of those years, last year, the year before, there was talk about that with him, and he's among the ageless ones.
Well, the great players, they just don't follow the normal patterns of decline.
You're right.
I mean, plenty of big league hitters, once they hit the mid-30s, they kind of go into a gradual decline, and you think, well, they're running out of gas. But the great ones, they kind of break those rules.
2-0 to Bogey. Furcal gets the 2-hopper, turns it over to Tyler Green. No throw to first. 2 outs on the 6-4 force out of Altuve. And Carlos Lee bats. He's 2 for 3 today. 8 hits for the Astros, all singles.
Brian Bogusevic, and it's tough against a lefty, but to me, there's a similarity between Bogey and Brett Wallace, and I'm not smart enough, know enough about the hitting mechanics to figure out exactly what's going on. But Wallace is so strong and has great bat speed, and the challenge for him was to get the ball in the air more. And I think the same thing applies to Brian. Brian is really, really strong. You watch him take BP, and he just hits some bombs. But for me, he hits the ball on the ground too much. I don't know how to fix that. Or if he even thinks it's something that needs to be fixed, or Mike Barnett. But it just seems to me if he could get, I don't know if it's a matter of changing the mechanics of his swing or maybe pitch selection. I don't know.
Strike one to El Caballo. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Yu Darvish lost for Texas 4-2. Cleveland winning it. Ubaldo Jimenez going to 3-2. Darvish 4-1. Chris Perez got his 11th save already. That's jerked out to left field. Shane Robinson back for the running catch. And it's no runs a hit. 1 man left after 8. Cardinals lead it. They're trying to avoid being swept, and they're in a very good position to do that, leading 8-1.
On the track, too tough to tame. As points leader Greg Biffle leads stock cars, best drivers in a chase for the checkered flag. Fox Sports is proud to bring you exclusive coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing, presented by GoDaddy.com. Live from the Darlington Raceway, Saturday in prime time, 5:30 Central. Now you can flip over since the Astros will be in the air at Pittsburgh at 6 p.m. Central, so you got a chance to cover them both. Big news yesterday, Danica Patrick wrecking a teammate's car in the action at Talladega. Let's see if that carries on in NASCAR. It's a different series, but it's all NASCAR. What we're talking about here is the big one next Saturday in the Sprint Cup Series.
Marwin Gonzalez in the game at second base, and Brandon Lyon is the pitcher. It's 8-1 Redbirds. Cardinals have out hit the Astros 10-8. Lyon is 0-1. His ERA is 3.24.
Brandon making his first appearance in this series. Last time we saw him, he was part of that parade of 5 one-batter relievers in that game against the Mets.
Ground ball, and this goes to second base, and it's Matt Carpenter batting for Alan Craig, grounding out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Lyon in the 9th as Carpenter comes around for the first time in this game. David Freese follows. Freese is 0 for 3 with a walk. Made a strong bid for an opposite field homer in the 7th, and Bogusevic took it away from him. He looks at strike 1. Fernando Abad in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, 1 run. He had 1 walk and 1 strikeout.
Yikes. Wow.
That was a screamer.
Yeah. If this weren't an 8-1 game, somebody would probably need dental work.
She looks scared.
But fortunately, there's a few empty seats down there.
Yeah. Oh boy. Gives everybody room to spread out and dive for cover. Tony Cruz on deck. Lyon gets a strike, and it's called for out number 2. 6 strikeouts for Astros pitching. And here's Cruz batting for Molina now. Yachty has caught all 3 games in this series. So he gets a bit of a rest before the Cardinals move on to Arizona. Cruz gets an at-bat. He's 1 for 16 for an .063 average. Cruz 0 for 1 in this series. He's 0 for his last 12 now. He has started 3 games this year for the Redbirds. He looks at ball 1. The Astros have Lowry, Buck, and Johnson due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Giants lead Milwaukee 2-1. They've played an inning and a half at AT&T Park. 2 balls, no strikes. Matt Cain's on the mound against Sean Markham. It's Miami nothing, San Diego nothing. Bottom of the 3rd at Petco Park. Ricky Nolasco on the mound for Miami. San Diego club now 9-19 out of the gate for Bud Black. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Padres' story hasn't changed much the last couple of years. They just can't score any runs.
They've talked about moving the fences in next year. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Still have a pretty good bullpen.
Yeah, they do. Carlos Lee at first. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, Jason Mott for the Redbirds. Breaking ball rolled foul. Still 2-2. So a good time for your family this weekend, right? To celebrate the graduation.
Maul graduating from Southwestern University. Summa cum laude, I might add.
Nice. In the tradition of the Deshays family.
Not one that was started by me, however.
Punch foul on a breaking ball. Still 2-2. It's a busy time of year, isn't it, with the graduation and proms and all kinds of things in the mix for people. School getting out soon.
Yeah, folks have to make their summer plans.
You bet.
Did they give away yoga mats here today? Pink yoga mats.
Did you get one? They're nice.
Yeah, there's one right here.
Fouled away, and it's still a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Bogey goes over for a look.
You got one, Brownie?
I did.
Well, there's a couple here in the booth.
Okay, you grab one.
And I know you're inclined to do a little downward dog on occasion.
Maybe we'll just leave them up here in the booth.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. 7th inning stretch.
They'll literally
drop
be
into a little yoga pose. You could go into warrior pose to try to get a rally going.
It's hard to throw out those peanuts, though. In the air, and the second baseman goes out. Gonzalez turning, can't locate it, and it drops. He got turned around, and he hasn't been playing much at all. And that's a looping single for Cruz.
Yeah, tough chance because you don't have a whole lot of time to read that ball because it's not hit that high. So you got to turn and start running and hope you can run to the spot. He thought he had it measured, but it had a little slice spin on it. Took it in the other direction, and he came up empty.
It's not a good feeling. John Jay 1 for 4 when you're trying to get back on a pop-up and you realize you've turned the wrong way. Got to scramble back in the other direction. Ball 1 to Jay. Atlanta 5, Colorado nothing. They're in the top of the 6th at Coors Field. And Beachy doing a job on the Rockies. They've had some high-scoring games out there lately. 1 ball, 1 strike. Humberto Quintero hit his first homer. Kansas City trails those 7-3 at home against the Yankees.
This old Astro week over there. Felipe Paulino beat the Yankees yesterday.
Yes, he did. Came off the disabled list and threw the ball very well. Now you were talking about the upcoming series with the Rangers. Nolan Ryan coming in to throw out the first pitch on that Friday, the 18th. Hard to believe interleague play is almost upon us. Bouncer going foul. We're reading now that there may be a reduced interleague schedule next year as far as the division or the rivalries you talked about, like the Astros and Rangers would play home and home series. That may not be happening in the future now.
Right, yeah. The quote unquote natural rivalries, the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Angels. Of course, we're going to play the Rangers a bunch because we'll be in the same division.
That's a strikeout of Jay to end the top of the ninth with no runs a hit and the man left. Bottom of the ninth ahead. Cardinals lead it 8-1.
Moves to the bottom of the ninth. Cardinals have their third pitcher on. Tell you about it. Here's Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Matt Carpenter's at first base from Elkins High School in Houston. He was a pinch hitter for Alan Craig in the top of the inning. Tony Cruz does the catching. He came up for Yadier Molina. Got the single in the top of the inning. And the closer, Jason Mott, has not had work in this series until now, JD.
Mott has worked 9 times this year for the Cardinals. He's 1-1 with an ERA of 3.12 and holding opponents to a measly 194 batting average. The former college catcher, turned pitcher, turned closer, hard thrower, comes right at you, mid-90s gas.
Jed Lowry's first up. He is 1 for 3. Single to center in the 4th inning to take his hitting streak to 9 games. There's strike one to Lowry. Mott, 29 years old, from Port Huron, Michigan, went to Iona College. The Gales, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not really known for their baseball program. A pretty good basketball program.
Jeff Ruland?
Yeah, big Jeff Ruland.
No balls, 2 strikes. Well, that was quite a conversion as he went from catcher to pitcher, and last year had 9 saves and 18 holds. Cardinals had rotating closers last year. Really unusual for a team to win the World Series with as many different closers as they used.
Well, see, and that was the point you were talking about earlier about all the closers that have gone down this year. It frees up the managers to really work his bullpen a little bit differently if he wants. Instead of designating a closer, you could actually use a couple different guys late in games and play the matchup game.
Mm-hmm. Still 1-2. Zepchinski in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts.
The dirty little secret in all this, sometimes those 7th and 8th inning guys are more valuable than the closer, but the closer gets all the glory.
Very good
and he gets
point.
paid better.
Very good point.
And he gets the really cool music when he comes into the game.
Looping liner caught by Green.
Now, if closers were used today like they were back in the days of our neighbor over here, Al Hrabosky, then it'd be a different story. Hungo used to come in there sometimes, go 3 innings to get a save.
He did. Yes, he did. He was very good and very entertaining with that trance he went into behind the mound.
Yeah, had the long hair and still has the Fu Manchu working. He used to have that long hair and stomp around out there behind the mound.
Oh, he was so much fun. Buck hits a roller to third. Freeze.
We'll have to get some old video of Al, the Mad Hungarian, back in the day. And next time we play the Cardinals, we'll show you what we were talking about if you haven't seen it.
Oh, it is priceless. You just really don't see that. Well, you know, you see a lot of closers with Valverde type mannerisms. You know, they stomp around and with the histrionics, but to go into that sort of trance before they pitch, that was the unusual part of it. He would go behind the mound and just stare and just pound the ball into his glove and stride on top of the mound and glare in at the hitter, strike him out. Chris Johnson 1 for 3. That was an act. But he could do it. I remember one time in Cincinnati, or it was in St. Louis against Cincinnati. He had the bases loaded and nobody out. I think he had a 1-run lead, and he struck out Bench, Perez, and Foster. And the place was just going nuts, as you would imagine. What a tremendous finish.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff.
It was absolutely an awesome display. Fly ball to center field. Jay is waiting. And the Cardinals grab one of this 3-game series. They snap the Astros' 5-game winning streak. Mott puts the lid on it. Wainwright going to 2-3. And he is 10-1 against Houston. Final score, Cardinals 8, Astros 1.